Imagine playing Rimworld's new DLC, but the graph ships control like space engineers. Make it a fully open world RPG with an economy, wars between spacefaring factions, and add alien races that will eat you with no remorse. If any of that interests you, stay tuned to see my progress. But first, thanks for all the positive comments. I didn't expect a comment from Code for Broke. He's a very powerful and sexual game dev. If you hate goblins, go check him out. I got another nice comment from Chug. I really do admire the confidence. From now on, I'm going to keep the devlogs more focused on my progress and less rambly about the technical stuff that I enjoy. In the past 2 weeks, I've been working on the medical system, introduced animals, redid the clothing system, and worked on station prefabs. I'll go in order here. In the last video, I already had medical items. They didn't have any functionality, so I added a so-called affliction system for the player and AI to be affected by injury. I added bleeds, bruises, fractures, hypothermia, things like that. Since I added this, I thought might as well add blood that forms on the ground. So I added another list of observers to this creature's events class. I made the injury system affect speed and melee damage in certain actions. I made injuries make you faster on accident, which I found funny, but yeah, I had to fix that. You can assign one of your homies to do medical work. They go grab the medical items appropriate to the injury and treat anyone in a bed. And of course, the player can now use these items on themselves and others. I made animals and the ability to butcher them. Butcher whoever, really. There's no system to punish that behavior yet. Since dragging a dead body is functionally the same as bleeding an animal, I just inherited from the creature drag body state. Coding this is pretty morbid. Speaking of morbid, I added this blood splatter effect, which I toned down a bit since recording this. I went back to the affliction system and reused this effect. I think it helps convey the violence that is canon to the setting. Since we have different diet types now, I had to make sweeping changes to how creatures eat. Humanoids will eat whatever they grow, steal, or purchase. They eat from fridges and chests, which makes sense. Animals either hunt, graze, or eat from a feeding trough if it has the right food. Since animals don't come out of thin air, I had to add a reproduction system. I made it general enough so that humanoids can reproduce in the future, if I want to add that. I made pregnancy a part of the affliction system. To determine if this was the correct place to put pregnancy, I looked up the definition of an affliction. Something that causes pain or suffering. So I mean, yeah, that kind of checks out, plus it was just easy to add here. All this work on animals, and I realized I didn't mention the farming system. I completed it sometime during the making of the first video, so if you want the full farmer experience, that's now possible. When I created the new animals, I had to redo a lot of the logic for rendering and clothing. I deleted the animal renderer class and stuffed all that logic into a more general creature renderer. So every creature now is rendered using a single class and shader. As a result, you have the freedom to dress up your fursona in any way you like now. I think this system is a good plan for the future. It opens up the possibility of pack animals, dog armor, and things like that. To show off the clothing system some more, I added uniforms to the Imperials and armor to the Orcs. I also made them carry some weapons that they might canonically use. When it comes to stations, I focused more on station part prefabs. Prefabs in this video, since they make up the bulk of generated stations in the world. In the last video, they were really rough, made of asteroid stone with some blue carpet. I looked at a game called Quasimorph for reference. They do a really good job at meshing rooms together to build stations. I made the rooms and hallways larger, more detailed, and I also replaced all the stone with the new steel hull block. I had to limit station generation vertically since these skyscrapers were causing 2-minute load times. I only created one of these fully handmade farming stations, the one you've been seeing so far. This is not my main priority now, but I will gradually add more of these handmade builds as I go on. Larger and better, of course. On the other hand, it might just be easier to generate all stations if I can get them to look good enough. I don't know yet. Let me know in the comments what you think. As for the future, I gotta add more clothing and new art, turning every which way on creatures. I will dread it, but I have been developing this thing for over a year now, and I think I suffer quite beautifully. I currently have a system in-game where destroyed hull blocks are replaced with a damaged variant, and a vacuum occurs in the room. This was an idea that would try to force the player not to build outside of the hull of the ship. The reason for that is because grids will take longer to render and it won't look good with the multi-threaded partitioning system. What I mean is excessively large ships will render out of nowhere onto your screen. Thinking about it now, players are going to expect to be able to build their ship their way, stations too. So I want to add a system that makes the ship or station more uninhabitable or slow the more players build away from the core. I would have redesigned the partitioning system for rendering ultra-massive grids, but I'm unemployed as hell and I'm running out of time, so sorry about that, bud. I am still working on the ship project management I mentioned in the last video. All this stuff takes more time than expected every single time, so yeah, sorry about that too. Really sorry. So yeah, that's what I've been working on for the past 2 weeks. Liking, commenting, or subscribing does help a lot, so if you want to help me out, I'd appreciate it. I'll see you all later.